Today is December 20th, 2025. Well, today I did a report again to the Department of Justice for the FBI case. And let them know they already confessed last year, where they said this whole thing was they were stealing for a poor family. Investigators had wondered who the poor family was. Well, they came right out and said they thought it was that it was Pam's family, that they were stealing for Savannah and her daughter. And it's like, why would you steal for rich people? Seriously, why would you steal for rich people? They're not poor. And then you go on Google how much RN nurses make, electricians, and they make $250,000 to $350,000 a year. Household income for like 30 years. They're the kind of people that go down to Disney World at Christmas time, spend a month on Disney property, and take a whole group of people. They're wealthy. Have the best, highest name brand everything. Her dad owned an electrical company. Her grandparents owned rental properties. They're money that came from money that makes money. They're not poor, and even Savannah's an RN nurse. And remarried, so she has an income of over $200,000 a year per household. So what are you talking about with her being an RN nurse? And her husband has a job. So what are you talking about? See, that's where after April 28th, 24, Walmart on the strip where the guy walks in, I listen to the recorder line, that guy, that agent did admit to telling on her before, and he did talk to her like that. They need to do something about it. Well, officer in uniform shows up because there's an FBI case open. We all know that guy told on you before, Karen. And we all know nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel. And it was a drug cartel in your home before. Okay? And I want to know how he heard that guy. And he takes off after him. Well, the Starr County Sheriffs, because they help work the FBI case, they made fun of some guy named Kurt in May of 21 if they just found out, Mel's kids were lying slow. Because on Thanksgiving of 18, they stayed in a legally bugged house. They wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa. And later on to Florida, they made everything up. They were games of pretend laughing. John defends me when I ask him what's going on. He didn't know. He told Melissa, his ex-wife, that we're going to go through a divorce. She'd have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too, but don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Just be made up because of the divorce. And it's like, you shouldn't have said anything till it happened, but I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. And he shooed me. I went to Dave to clarify everything within a few days. I said, I've never hurt anyone. He said, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids. You'd never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. Okay? Police and FBI defends him. Tapes him defending me. All of them. Everybody speaks highly of me. The police and the FBI call Melissa out, call her stupid in Walmart 62. How they taped her, telling the kids to lie. Well, I guess I was fishing with Dave. And how dumb she was trying this, and that they were just trying to scare me into giving up the house. And da-da-da-da-da. So come May of 21, we're 2.5 years later. They're documenting me games of pretend. Okay? They said that Kurt just found out those kids are lying, so the sheriff's called him slow. They did. If he just found out those kids were lying, he is slow. He is laughing. So he tells everybody, stay out of it. So, guy's on the phone with him. He's like, Kurt, no, this is funny. They have the agent over case taped saying, or telling on her before and admitting to telling on her. They have her family all taped defending her, saying they didn't know anything about this. And these people admitting they drugged her and told her to say it before, photoshopped everything and made everything up on her. And they have the other set saying that they made everything up. None of this is funny. Everybody stay out of it. Then Pam walks by with her granddaughter. Uncle Dave said he had someone tape her before. Well, who the cops say it was? The drug cartel. What did the other guy say? It's all made up and drugged and photoshopped. They already confessed. Okay? Oh, they'll verify. I walk outside and all the investigators around me bust out laughing. Took her long enough to confess she was in it with Dave and the stalking tapes. And her family was linked to the following Randy. Now she's in it with Dave and the stalking tapes. Her kids better never verify anything on those tapes before the police already taped them, saying they didn't know anything about it, defending her. And these people admitting to drugging her and telling her to say it before, photoshopping everything and making everything up on her, that means they were in it with Dave. Trying to kill her and cover it up the whole time. The police would have to arrest him. Well, around that time, that night or within a night or so, there is a guy outside in North Canton. He said, I already told that girl. She's already been taped, knowing of the tapes before. She better not get caught part of them, or she'll go to jail for a long time. She needs to realize how not funny this is. That guy, Chris, they raced out of the room, she don't even know who he is. And he was one of the main people hurting her. And she needs to realize how not funny this is. Okay? Well, then after that, people were saying, well, they're stealing for that poor family. Well, they said in 2018 when the case started, they were stealing for that poor family. Okay? Even investigators, what a poor family. And they said, well, Savannah and her baby. It's like, Savannah's not poor. And they were talking about Pamela. It's like, they're not poor. They're very wealthy people. So I go on Facebook and I upload what nurses make, electricians make, and how they had that big income for 30 years, and where dad owned an electrical company or grandparents owned real estate. A lot of people disappeared. And they said that guy Chris and his friends said not to say a word to her. They were hurting her and hurting her because they thought they were poor and they were wanting to steal from her. And they found out that family was wealthy, and none of this is funny. Do you know how many people are out there working 2 jobs, barely making it, and would never hurt a person, let alone crush their skull and rape and torture them, human traffic them to extort money from the government? And these are just wealthy people? See, that's where December 17th, 25, I was going over it with Carl. I said, in March of 18, after I was following around it, I went over to Danny and John's. Kaylee was there, John's friend, and she said, well, you know about Savannah? I said, I know of her, but I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? I said, her parents went to that church a long time ago, like 1984. It's 2018. Dave and I started attending that church occasionally in 2012. We probably seen them maybe 6 to 10 times in 6 years. We hardly went. And the most they did is walk by and say, hi, how are you? How's your kids? How are your grandkids? They may have said, hey, this is our daughter, Savannah. And I would have looked over and said, hello. I don't know her. It's like, I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? Why would I? I don't even know all Pam's kids' names. We had no contact with them for 30 years, except for if you'd see them in a store, you say hi to them and pass them by for people you used to know. See what I mean? I didn't know her. I don't even know if they said, hey, this is our daughter, and I looked over and went, hello. Well, they give me 2 minutes of their time. We didn't have anything associated with them at all. Just be implied as you pass somebody in a church. See what I mean? And the thought of an 18-year-old little girl dating a 60-year-old bald fat man with crooked teeth and waddled like a duck? What? I would never put that together. Ever. Especially when they come from a $300,000 household income and they've only made $1,000. That's 1/3 of their income. Why would they download? I mean, seriously, why would you digress? And why would you want your daughter to when you have all that money? Exactly. I would never put that two together. Dave was old enough to be her grandfather. Okay? And she said, well, that baby she holds. Well, I seen her holding a baby. And Pam has grandkids, so did I. So I didn't think anything of it. And she said, well, that's some big drug dealer's baby. I said, well, what does that have to do with it? She looked at me like I was stupid. So I went home and I looked her up, and it was her Facebook friend that followed around to me. I'm like, what does she have to do with anything? See, I had nothing to do with those people. Nothing. Well, people were complaining on December 17th, 25. She was telling people I was rude to her. I don't even know if I ever said hello. I may have. Just be implied if they pointed her out. I don't know her. I've never had a conversation with her. She lied. See, that's where November 23rd, 25, Macy's and Summit Mall. Some girls are up there and they're yelling out that they were already in contact with my ex-husband, and that they wanted to run a scam on the government to extort money. They needed somebody to run a scam on. So they asked him if they could use me. And he agreed. He agreed. And he agreed. If they made sure he got everything. See, Strange hated the government. Preached it from the pulpit. One day they'll take your guns. You'll have to bury them in the backyard in mines. They'll brainwash your kids and may take your kids. He hated the government. Hated them. Hated them. And, my sister Linda is married to Tim, his son's, Strange's son. One time, me and her were talking years ago. She said, everybody thinks Strange is so smart. He just puts on the act of it. I said, what do you mean? He went to college, didn't he? She said, no. He's got a high school diploma from the 1950s. She said, I'll tell you what, he can only read, write, add and subtract and multiply and divide. That's all he can do. He's never had a formal higher education at all. And it's basically what we do in grade school right now. That's all they taught in the 1950s to graduate. She said he just puts on airs that he's so smart and he's not. It's just an act. Okay? So the thought of a man that is an occult leader, low educated, thought he can scam the government, hates him. His niece, Pam, great niece Savannah, she has a drug dealer's baby. They want to extort money out of the government, gave him a high. Do you realize how stupid he thinks the government is to even try this with him? See, these fools saying, oh, we got special permission to be in our home before. Well, what fool gave you special permission? Because you're both going to jail. There's no such thing as special permission. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements with a court order. There's nothing else. It's the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. Like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville said, even the FBI would go to jail without being in a protected custody case with statements. And that agent had to take statements of threat of life from everyone in that home. They also had to have a court order. Or it's a felony invasion of privacy, cyberstalking, and voyeurism. See, there's no such thing as special permission, or there's sodium pentothal reports. They're hypnotic drugs and told to say stuff and photoshopping and washing. That's why Lighthouse Tabernacle, Strangers Church, publicly mocked FBI agent John June 7th, 23, how they fooled him with the stunner tapes before and mocked him. Then we have HIPAA violations. No doctor could ever be with them. No doctor can talk about you without your consent. No, the attorney cannot have a doctor friend pull your medical records. They can't even approach a doctor without your signed consent and ID, and the doctor verified that it's okay for them to talk to him. It is a 10-year federal sentence, loss of license for both. HIPAA violations. See, their scam is stupid. Like one of the neighbors said, the apostolics think we're all stupid and that we'd fall for it when nobody can do this. Exactly. And they were complaining. We all found they were bragging they were, that girl, they were stealing for that drug dealer's baby. And that wealthy family can take care of it. They said they were trying to set her up for life. Other people were complaining. Savannah was telling people that she was rude to her and they needed to steal all her money for her and her baby. And that baby needs to be set up for life. Like people said later on when they found out how wealthy that family is, the wealthy family can take care of it. You did know Agent John, this drug dealer, her big drug dealer daddy, baby daddy, she's a baby mama, was setting the baby mama and his little girl up for life, trying to steal from the government, run a scam with an occult leader. And they were all scamming you just to steal from the government, where you were telling people you didn't care I was being drugged, being raped. And they were just trying to scam money out of the government. And that's what the whole thing was about. Where they told you this whole thing was them stealing for a poor family. It was for Pam and Jack's family, for Savannah and that drug dealer's baby. To extort endless amount of money for the rich, wealthy people. You knew that, right? This whole thing is to steal money for Savannah and that drug dealer's baby. The whole thing. To extort money out for them. To set them up for life. They've already confessed. They confessed last year, and they confessed again this year. You know that, right? Where you were telling people you didn't care I was being drugged, being raped, and you made fun of them for an occult trying to say they're going to have me murdered because some idiot called me a faker and it was a medication error. Medical malpractice almost killed me in 2002, and it took me a year to get well. 9 months, actually. And it's documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication error. And the low-educated occult leader made up a filthy lie when he thought he was following his son and his mistress, and it was my sister Linda following her husband Tim with Katie. And they thought it was me, and they made up a baby lie. And they wait 15 years to kill me. You knew they were scamming you, right? So that they could extort money out for that drug dealer for him to set up his baby mama and his baby for life. And they thought the government was stupid and they could just steal from them. And that's what all this is about, is for them to extort money from the government. You knew that, right? You got your facts straight, right? Well, you told them, you made fun of me that they were trying to kill me. You didn't blame them. On a recorded line. Because some low-educated occult leader called me a faker when he thought it because I was following his son and his mistress, and it was my sister following her husband? You knew that. He just made up that lie to get rid of me. Right? And it's 15 years later, so it would be ridiculous for them to even act on anything 15 years later. But no, they wanted to extort money for that drug dealer's baby mama and baby. And they thought the FBI was stupid. Strange hated the government. Pam's his niece and Savannah's his great niece. And that they could just take money from the government because you're a bunch of gullible fools, right? You knew what this was about, right? I'm going to upload this.